moment in time.
Hi, Steve. Hi.
Hi, how are you, Nick? Good to see you.
Good to see you. I'm doing well, I must say. Mr. Jingles is here as well. Hello, Mr. Jingles.
I don't know if you heard about my little cat.
No.
Well, I had a cat visitor. We had in Miami here, and I heard this meowing. He's out in the back, and I was trying to investigate, real loud meowing, and I finally got some little meat and figured kind of the area, and then he came out, and I left it on this wall, and the cat came out, and I saw his little kitten. And so I kept feeding it. He was so hungry. And then I got him feed down to my hand. First, very skittish. And then he got to be my buddy, and he kind of moved in. I bought him a little house and outdoor cat, and I had him scheduled for a meeting. And I named him Alley Cat. But he disappeared. I think he got picked up by the animal control. And I don't know what happened. My heart was broken. I got to say, I was really attached to him. He was such a cute kitty. I hope he got adopted. But I don't know.
Always hope. Always hope.
I know. But anyway, so I love cats.
I mean, I'm originally not a cat person, more of a dog person. But then the story about Mr. Jingles and Buster. They were found at an abandoned barn about 10 years ago now. And a friend of mine took them in. Then he had to move and couldn't take them with him. So I took them in. And,
I know, that's what they're great, and they kind of adopt you. And I got Alley Cat, so he would lay in my arms, and I could pet him on his pet belly and his back, and he He is just so full of love, and I just really,
Mm.
I don't know. I've got to do a wrap up stream. I was trying to find him, and I saw that the Pound has this thing where they show found kitties, and it looked like him, and it was around the time that he disappeared. And I got the number. He had a number, animal number, but then he just wasn't on there anymore.
Oh.
And I'm like, well, what happened? So I'm thinking he was such a good cat. He was a beautiful cat. I'm thinking maybe somebody just adopted him right off. That's what I hope. So
Yeah,
what else is going on in the Nik Starow world? You've been covering all kinds of stuff, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I've been busy. Still with the Delphi case 2 years later. The Adelson case out of Florida, up in Tallahassee, which I covered the Charlie Adelson trial, and now the Donna Adelson trial. And
how's that looking?
It's interesting because I don't know if you know the story, but Donna first had Charlie's attorney as her defense attorney.
Let's just give some context. This is the law professor that was murdered?
Yes.
Okay, and the suspects it was a murder for hire by the guy's ex-wife?
Ex-wife plus family.
And it was having to do with custody disputes, right?
Yeah. It was extremely...
Dan Merkel, I think, was the guy's name and he was an FSU criminal law professor.
Exactly. And it was a very, very nasty divorce, followed by a very, very nasty custody battle. And it started with there's no evidence whatsoever that it was abuse involved in any way, shape, or form. But there is evidence that Donna Adelson, the matriarch of the Adelson family, really, really hated Dan and his family. Really, really. To the extent that during the marriage, she put Wendy, her information, into Match.com to find new men for her. I mean, seriously?
Isn't the family like dentists from South Florida or something?
Yeah.
I followed this quite a bit when first breaking because it was legal. As a criminal law professor, of course, at the time I was into criminal law, and it was kind of a mystery because I think it's a very odd, unusual murder case. So I imagine it's a very interesting trial. How have the parties been doing?
Well, so far we have been through day one, opening statements, and the opening statement for the state, good, but it was basically the same as in the previous trials. I mean, the facts are still the same. It's just a new defendant. And then came the defense opening statement, and it was very much of listen to all the evidence, the extended version.
Right.
When you don't have much of a case, but
what is the defense theme?
The defense team is, what's the name? Because they had to change. Because first, Donna wanted to use the family attorney, Mr. Rauschbaum, and his team. And the team said that Charlie had signed a waiver. They represented that to the court. But in February of this year, the judge says, well, I need the paperwork now. And then it became clear Charlie never signed the waiver for conflict of interest.
Yeah, there needs the waiver. It needs to be in writing in Florida.
Yeah. And so there never was one. So first he got disqualified, of course, because he represented to the court that there was one, and there never was one. And then his entire team, because can somebody else on the team do this? And the judge decided, no, sorry, Donna, you need a new set of attorneys. So she got a new set of attorneys. And they have been more successful in the pre-trial motions, getting stuff out.
The defense team has been.
Yeah. So generally,
in the murder trial, the judges tend to lean towards the defense, as they should. A good judge should do that pre-trial to narrow the evidence, to err on the side of what I'd say conservatism towards protecting citizens' rights because, you know, I mean, the state has a high burden. It's beyond a reasonable doubt. So the evidence that comes in should be clean, legal, and of a high standard, right? So I respect a judge who, you know, listens to those motions and grants defense motions when appropriate. So that sounds to me like you've got a decent judge, at least pre-trial.
Yeah.
How's he been doing in the trial?
In the trial, he's been doing good. I mean, after lunch, the defense attorneys wanted to, because there is a lot of emails, text messages, and everything. And then after lunch on the first day, they, well, there are some of these we don't want in. And Judge Everett said, well, this should have been handled pre-trial because there are already orders in place. Things have already been litigated. So why are we doing this now when the jury is seated?
Yeah, and, there's that juror deference that judges do too. Like they're so kiss up to jurors to the point of ridiculousness. But there are, you know, a state case in Florida, it should be very much open file. And so, and the defense should know exactly what evidence is against their client beforehand. And if there's issues with it, if there's suppression issues, is it suppression issues, or what are the defense issues with the evidence that?
Well, I actually have it cut out as it's an 8-minute video. We can watch it. Now, sadly, for some reason, I called him Judge Fain. His name is not Judge Fain. His name is Judge Everett. So here is how it went. Jury, Judge Fain has something to say. There he is, standing up, cracking his knuckles. Cracking his knuckles. Time to get nervous. Time to get nervous.
Please be seated. What's that? You can step down, Mr. Rice. Please step outside the courtroom.
This judge has total control over his courtroom.
He's a big guy.
Judge Payne is a big dude. And he's not sitting down for this. He keeps standing. He cracked his knuckles. Not happy.
Well, you know, can I chime in here real quick? I don't know if this is it's interesting what he's doing. And this, I really like when a judge does this. And the best judge I was mentored, I would say, by a great judge, the best judge I've ever seen before or since. And his name was Richard O. Watson out of St. Johns County, Florida. And the courthouse in St. Augustine is named after him. And this is the type of move that he would do. And I really loved it. What he would do is like, okay, he's getting ready to say something that is unpleasant, let's say, like to lecture the attorneys or whatever. But what he's doing is he's making sure all the jurors are out and the witnesses are out before he does that. He is not tipping his hand that he favors anybody. He is instead clearing the courtroom, and then he's going to make his, you know, he's upset about something or he's unhappy about something, but he's not going to show that in front of the jury or witnesses, which that is a top level move as far as I'm concerned. So already I like the judge. I mean, I don't know how he's been generally, but that's a very professional move. He's not up there, you know, you see these judges, they're like making noise and they scold and they're doing it in front of the jury, in front of witnesses, and it's not very judicious. So this is a good move by this judge.
Yeah.
All right. At this point, I'm nearing becoming inclined to send the jurors home for the day, as we are wasting a significant amount of time on matters that were either previously litigated or now are still being challenged for reasons that could have been handled out of court. Mr. Zellman, for any item that is being objected to with State 60, that you are claiming has no tie to your client's communications. You need to look for that binder now.
Judge, part of the objection that we're making concerning that is without laying the foundation through a witness with personal knowledge, there is no tie to my client. Anything, and specifically anything post-dissolution, so post July 31st, 2013 that's in here, there's no evidence.
I heard this argument.
Yes.
It hasn't been ruled upon
Yes.
at this point.
Yeah, well, one of the things here, so what they're talking about is predicates. Now, this is an interesting topic, and this is, I'd be interested to hear what the state says in it. So what this means is, okay, so they're going to, I assume this is the first day of trial, right? And this is your first witness. And the first witness, you got to start somewhere. And usually you start with your best witness and you end with your second best witness. And then you fill it up in the middle with all the kind of predicate stuff. And, there's an order of witnesses that allow you to tell a story in a trial. So that's a very important decision for a prosecutor. The problem with that is that your first witness is going to be talking about the whole case, and it's a complicated case. And what evidence comes in, they're going to be talking about evidence that's not yet been introduced. And so the defense is going to say, well, that evidence doesn't have the proper predicate. What the defense wants you to do is disrupt that narrative and that story by having you lay all the predicates first and then put in here. So you don't put on your best witness first, okay? Now, here's the thing. The state can say, we will wrap this up later. This evidence will be tied into the defendant through a witness that's to come. They can make that commitment to the court. And the court can say, I'm going to overrule your predicate objection based on the state's representation. But the state better damn well be sure that they actually do tie it up. Because if they don't, then you've got an error built into your trial and you've got an appellate reversal problem. So I'm expecting that's what this is about. That's my tea leaf prediction. So I'd be interested to hear what the state, how they're going to come back. But let's hear it.
If the state has multiple witnesses that the foundation can be laid through, your objection will be noted for the record, but we are going to move on. If you need to look through this binder to match it up with specific communications in which you believe no foundation can be laid, you'll need to take the time. But as far as wasting the jurors' time on this any further today, what else does a defense need to look through concerning these exhibits?
Jesus Christ! You should be shitting yourself now, counsel. You don't want to be in the receiving end of this. You really don't. Yeah. As I previously said, Judge Fain does not fuck around. Judge Everett. And he does not appreciate being fucked with. No games, no nothing. You could have done this motion. Let's do it in the morning. Let's tell the jury to come in later. Yeah.
Before we leave here today, if we need to go through every single state exhibit to deal with any objections concerning them, we will do so, however long that takes. But we're not going to be wasting the jurors' time.
Now he sits down. For the record, I want that chair. Yeah. I want that chair so bad.
Just slowly.
That is Donna Adelson, the matriarch. Yeah, this is not the jovial, wisecracking fellow from yesterday. No, it is not. Oh. Yeah. Now, this is up in Tallahassee. I'm going down to Miami. I don't have the time to go up there to this courtroom this time, but I really want to go up there and see him in person. Judge Daddy protecting his jurors. Is he Judge Daddy now?
To our objection concerning establishing a foundation for proving my client's knowledge, we're ready to proceed.
Concerning that, Ms. Kathleen, between former Detective Isom, Wendy Adelson, or any other witnesses, are you going to be establishing the foundation as to the defendant's knowledge or connection to multiple witnesses?
May I have a moment, please?
Go ahead.
Oh, that's not, I didn't like that answer. That should have been a yes. If it's, I'm not sure, that's dangerous.
I had not planned to do that. I provided this exhibit to the defense. I have not heard anything about an objection, so I have not planned to ask this go through every single piece of paper with this witness. I can do that, but that is going to take some time. I will need a recess to prepare for that. I do have a list of how each piece of paper is related to the defendant, but this witness isn't prepared to go through every single piece of paper in this exhibit.
Are you requesting for me to send the jurors home for the day?
No. I think I've complied with the court's ruling, and I'm requesting that the exhibit be admitted, pursuant to that, and move on.
There does have to be a foundation as to the nexus between the defendant's either communications or actions and these pleadings. That was the ruling. For what was provided in discovery,
Is that something that needs to be done in front of the jury judge, or is that something we could tie up later and move on right now?
you can tie up later, but it will not be admitted until the foundation is tied up.
Okay, Judge, I think that would be my preference then.
Yeah, so what Judge Fine is doing here, he's also telling the prosecution, you should have anticipated this, because this is highly prejudicial. Even though the defense didn't bring this up pre-trial, you will have to always expect an objection and always expect to be forced to lay a foundation to show nexus. So Judge Fine is not only reaming out the defense here, he is reaming out the prosecution.
Right. That's right. Yeah. No. This
Very well. Please bring the jurors up.
I like the
Please direct Detective Isom to come.
Sorry.
I like the way this judge is handling this.
Yeah.
I don't see favoritism on either side. I see him concerned about having a clean trial. He's concerned because he doesn't know if the state's prepared or not. And he wants to, his job is to put on a fair trial for the defendant, for the state of Florida. And he's now, when the defense makes an objection, he's concerned because he's like, why wasn't this raised pre-trial? But then he looks to the state and he says, okay, now what's your response? And they're fumbling around a little bit. And now he's concerned about that. So he says, well, do you need some time? Now, I don't know. This seems to me to be quite a complicated, I would expect, and I don't know because I haven't followed it at all. But given a murder for hire type situation, I would expect this to be quite a complex case.
Yeah.
And because of that, it's first of all, it's high level prosecution. The prosecutor should be very prepared, and every bit of evidence that you have should have a tie into the defendant and should have a predicate, an authentication predicate, and how this is done and how you're going to introduce it. So she should have all that lined up in her trial notebook, the way I would prepare for a trial, for example. But when she answered, I didn't hear it as definitively and clearly, because if I was there and I was prepared, I would say, oh yes, we're ready to go forward. Now it may be I don't know all the facts of the case, and so I'm not sure. I mean, it seems to me like she needs to really be careful, because the problem here too, see, here's the problem. Let's assume that you have testimony from a witness and they're testifying about some bit of evidence, and you're expecting to come in with a later bit of a predicate, right? You're expecting another witness to come in. And then the defense objects and succeeds and gets that evidence excluded. Now you have a mistrial, because now you have a prior witness commenting on evidence that was not admissible. So this I like the way the judge is, and I'm not unimpressed with the prosecutor. I don't know if she's ready or she's not. I think that was a professional answer, though. She wasn't hysterical. She wasn't emotional or offended by the defense's objection or any of that. She was looking to what she's got in front of her, assessing it and being very cautious, and that's smart. So I like the way that the team here is working. So interesting. I think that's going to be a good trial for you to cover for sure.
Yeah, I mean, this is trial number 4 First, you had the trial against the hitman and Katie. The hitmen were convicted, hung on Katie. Then retrial on Katie, where she actually, before trial, got the offer, spill the beans and you will walk.
Yeah, but see, but here's
And,
the thing. But you have
she
four
chose trial.
independent people, and other people could all very well be guilty of sin, and and this woman here could not be. And there's a good example. There's this Jacksonville trial that is the murder trial where the software executive was killed. I forget what the name of that one was, but it's still ongoing. And the husband, or was it the boyfriend, I forget, actually did the killing. And the question is whether or not the wife knew about it. And that evidence is non-existent. The evidence for that is extremely thin. Now, the evidence that the guy was killed by the boyfriend or the husband, that was very strong. But and so he could be guilty, and then she could be nothing to do with it. And of course, the women never have anything to do with it. They're innocent, right? They're protected. The guys are the ones that suffer the criminal consequences.
Yeah, I mean, but in this trial, it's quite evident that this is a very matriarchal family.
A very what?
Matriarchal family. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and it doesn't have to be matriarchal for the females to be as culpable. I mean, it should lay on the facts, the evidence in the case. And I hope that it's decided on that, and not just because, well, the other three were guilty, therefore she is too. If the evidence is that she was in on it, then she should pay the same consequences as the other people who are equally culpable. If the evidence is not guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, with admissible evidence, then she should be not guilty. So
I say this to my audience, that regardless of how despicable I think Donna is, if they don't prove it, she should walk.
Now this is the first day, right? So they've done openings, and yours is your first witness, right?
That was the third witness. They have had a bunch of witnesses up to this one after openings. That was simply getting evidence in.
How many? How long is this trial supposed to go?
It's scheduled up until September 5th.
Okay, so in Florida we are pretty efficient with our trials, even murder trials, and so and it looks to me like you got a good judge. I like the way he handled that. And I'm just jumping in here and looking at these people, but it's interesting. Well, and the system shouldn't be about the lawyers and the judge. They shouldn't be, this is the way it should be handled, so that it's efficient and the jury is focused on the issues before the case, and not getting all wrapped up in personalities or lawyers or judges or any of that stuff. Those people should not have an impact on the outcome of the case, really. I mean, it should be focused on the evidence.
Yeah. Now, in this case, Wendy, who was married to Dan, she has testified in the previous. She has the stay immunity she can't be. They can't use what she's saying in court against her. And
Wendy is who? That's
the wife of Dan.
Ex-wife
or ex-wife.
So she doesn't. She's not serving prison sentence.
No, they haven't gotten to her yet.
Okay, but she's got to deal with the state.
Yeah, she got to deal with the state to testify.
What is that deal?
To just talk about what she knows, as if she more or less was sidelined. Just talk about what she knows.
And she's throwing her mom and dad under the
No, not if she can't help it. But here's the kicker: she's been testifying in the previous trials under immunity. Now, in this trial, all of a sudden, with this new set of attorneys, Mom is throwing Wendy under the bus. The person who actually had a reason is Wendy, who testifies for the state under immunity. So the defense here is going, Donna had nothing to do with it. Sheku actually had a reason, because it's a custody battle where the last thing that happened before before Dan was killed was he won a few significant motions in the custody battle. They had 50-50, but it was still a custody battle because Wendy wanted the kids down to Miami. The last one filed was Dan saying that Donna, the mother, should only have supervised visitations with the kids.
Well, this is a motivation for
Yeah.
murder, and people don't realize that most murders have a primal appeal. There's usually, very rarely is it murder for money. And when you're talking about families, interfamily murder is very common. That's probably the number one reason, that and street respect issues and territoriality issues. But the other one is when you have the people within families, those people are close to you and they matter more than anything. When you're talking about custody disputes and children, that's the highest level of emotion. That's where you really care, right? That's what. Why would I care about this guy? Well, there you go. And so that does fit what I would say was probably some of the more common motives.
And Donna, in an email, offered Dan $1 million to give up custody, and he just nope, not going to happen.
Yeah, and I understand. It's something. Well, that's interesting. I'm sure this is going to be a very good trial. You followed the other trials too, right?
Yeah, I followed Charlie's trial, which was. I mean, the facts are still the same. It's just how it's presented by the prosecution. So when in their opening statement, it was almost identical. They just changed Charlie to
right, and you have kind of go to both defense and the state have kind of go to the well openings and closing themes. You want to theme it. And in fact, one of my articles I wrote, which is in Ideas and Answers in Law, but it's also on SSRN, it's called, it's about closing arguments for prosecutors and ethical prosecutorial closing arguments. But in that, I have a whole framework on how openings and closings and about how a good prosecutor should present a case in Florida. I'm a Florida lawyer, so I speak to Florida, but I think it goes nationwide. But that first chapter is how it should be done correctly. And you theme it and you lay out the facts in a very objective way. And there's an order. It talks about witness order and how to do it, a closing ethically and effectively. And that's one that I'm really happy with that article, which is available for free. So if you want to.
Hey, Steve wrote an article.
Yeah. Surprise.
Yeah, but what's different with this trial is it's a new set of attorneys that has zero. They don't give a clam about Charlie or about Wendy. They are there to get Donna a not guilty verdict. So they don't care who they throw under the bus. And it seems like they have made a decision. Yeah, they are going, don't look at Donna, look at Wendy. Who was the person who actually had the most motive? And I don't know if it will be successful, but we are now from the hitman to Kate, who was the facilitator between the money and the hitman. We have Charlie, who paid for the hit. And now all of a sudden we have Donna. So now we are one step removed from the more active participants in this. So this is a conspiracy.
Well, and it's really, I got, and I don't know, as a human being more than anything, these are the kind of things that are really tragic because you have one death, but now you have a whole other family that's wiped out by the state, so you get, when you have these kind of conspiratorial murders, boy, the destruction is wide because not only have you lost Dan Markle as a educator and a human being and a father, but now you've got all the other side of the family that's getting put in prison for the rest of their life. And how many people is that going to take down? 3, 4, 5? I mean, I don't know, but it's a tragedy across the board. And criminal law is somebody does something really evil, and the state does something evil back to them. So
Yeah, and in the middle of this, you have the kids. They were 3 and 4 at the time. Now they are 14 and 15. And the Adelsons, after Dan's murder, 2 weeks after, they changed the kid's last name from Markel to Adelson, removing more or less every trace. They have been hindering almost every kind of visitation between Dan's parents and the boys for 11 years. So regardless of what's happened, where is there? This is the justice the society can provide. But at the meantime, Dan is gone, and his parents barely sees their grandkids because Wendy, so far, has won. She got the kids. They are in Miami.
Wow. Well, that's yeah, some strange stuff. I remember it's tough because we create these rules. Law is supposed to be objective rules that apply to everyone. And so we take a step removed from the individual situation. You say, okay, here's the general rule that we should apply when faced with a situation and this fact pattern. But it doesn't always result in justice. The world is complicated. And I remember the Elian Gonzalez case here in Miami, which was when this Cuban kid, his parents died on the way over. And then I don't know if you remember that. And then Janet Reno took the kid out at the point of a barrel and sent him back to Cuba and back to basic. And that was a big cause celeb in Miami. It's like, okay, well, the father wants the child back in Cuba. Well, he doesn't have the freedom. That was Castro and the Castro regime that was puppeting the father for propaganda purposes, right? The guy is not free. Why don't we bring the father to the United States and he can father the kid here, right? And the Elian Gonzalez had a family here in Miami who wanted to retain custody. But then, of course, when custody laws came down, the general rule is the father or the mother should have the custody of the child. And it's very tough because now you're sending this kid back to slavery and tyranny, and that's not a good outcome. So that was a big issue. I remember when Janet Reno and her thugs took the kid off by a very famous picture. I don't know where they were hiding in the closet with the kid, and the guy's got the machine gun pointed at the family, the little kid in the closet. I don't know. You don't remember that, the Elian Gonzalez case?
No, I mean, that is Elian Gonzalez. This is 20 years ago.
Yeah.
25 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, I have the picture here.
Yeah. Not a very good picture for the American police forces, I'll say. But it was not a popular decision by the Cuban community here because there's a little kid. And of course, the kid went back and grew up and became a propaganda tool for the communist regime in Cuba, just like they expected. Yeah. This is crazy. I mean, we've got this big state issue. I don't know. I mean, that was a very tough case. But what I'm saying is that what may be true generally and may be the right thing generally doesn't always come true singularly, right?
Yeah. And in this particular case, when everything is said and done, there will be absolutely no winners. I mean, Dan is still gone. Most of the Adelson family is in prison. And then all of a sudden you have 2 boys in their mid-teens. Okay, what now? You have the Dan's parents. Yeah, but they live in Canada. It's not like they can transition 2 teenagers to Canada.
Well, tell me about it. So you're going to come to Miami. So we're going to
let's talk about those things instead. much more fun. Yes, I am coming to Miami. I will land. Let's see here. Let's see here. I will land in. Let's see here. 6:25 a.m. Oh, Friday, September 19th. So we'll take off evening of the 18th from Salt Lake City, and I will land September 19th at 6:25 a.m.
Yes, and I'll pick you up from the airport,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
then but I've got to work. I think that's Friday or something, right? Is it Friday?
19th. Yeah, it's a Friday.
Yeah, so I'll have to work that day, but we'll definitely come on the Saturday, the next day. So Saturday the 20th, I think it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
We'll go say about 6:30. We will be at Julian Henry's in downtown Miami. If everybody, and I thought about like, where should we go and hang out? And there's Julian Henry's right downtown. You see, that's the road that goes onto the big pier. See, Julian Henry's is right downtown, just north of Miami River. And see the Miami River down there, and there it is right there, Julian Henry's. Go click. When you click on that, you'll see an eatery there. Julian
it's
Henry's
on the
Food
left.
Hall. Right, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
The parking garage is kind of just around the corner there. Parking is always a problem in Miami. And it's a great little eatery. They've got bars, they've got desserts, they've got food, lots of eateries. It's about a 3 or 4 story hall that extends up, and it's surrounded by these eateries and bars and food. So, like I told you, I said, if nobody shows up, it'll be you and me sampling all the bars and I don't know. I think you can smoke, and I don't know if we'll have cigars, but they have, and so we'll eat and we'll dine and we'll party, and if people want to show up and hang with us, then we'll be there, and it's a great place. If one person shows up or if 20 people show up, we'll have a good time, or nobody. It'll just be me and you. Either way, we'll be there at 6:30 on Saturday night.
Saturday the 20th. Yeah, I look forward to this so much. I mean, we've been talking back and forth for a couple of years now, 2.5 years.
Yeah.
And always got along just fine. We have fun together when we stream. And I mean, and then when the stream is off, we talk for another few hours.
No, that's true. Well, and the neat thing, like we were talking a little bit, I've been working so much. I've had an involuntary career change, I would say, or at least topical change, where now I'm doing civil defense, mostly doing trucking defense, and doing civil law. And it's a challenge, but I think I'm getting on top of it pretty quick. But it's a lot more. It's a lot of work starting over from kind of the bottom. I mean, it's a strange mix because I think I was kind of at the top when it came to criminal law, and now I've kind of got to start over. But given that, I haven't had a lot of time to stream or socialize or anything else. But the thing that I really enjoyed about doing streaming and being, on different y'all stream and different things is I did get to meet some brilliant people, some really good friends. The negative, the haters that are also part of it are horrible. Yeah. And I could care less about them. And if you're one of them and you're watching this, please turn the channel, go away, and don't ever tune in to me again. I don't want you to watch me. I don't want you to hear me. I don't want you anywhere near me, because there's a lot of people that are out there who want nothing but hate. But I've also made a lot of really close friends. I would say friends, I mean, I've met some cool people. I went up to the expert stream up at Dollywood, and got to meet like MLS Law and Kaiser Pineapple, who's one of the coolest guys. I love Kaiser. And Kaiser's one of the nicest guys. And, people underestimate kindness. Yeah. They see that, a lot of people see that as weakness. And that is so offensive. To me, I mean, if somebody is extraordinarily kind, that is a gift. That is something that we should appreciate. We should honor kindness and generosity and the good qualities in people. And like you said, and you and I have a love of American and European history, modern American. Yeah. And so we always talk about that. Then, of course, your love of law. And I mean, just we have so many things in common, but also you're a very different person. And it's just interesting. I mean
really it's a completely different upbringing. I mean, I grew up in socialism.
Yes.
Where thanks to my parents, I wasn't a socialist, and still I went into labor and employment union, which is probably why. Well, I had a great career, But
And I'm
if
interested to hear more about it.
if I would have signed that party book, let's join the Social Democrats,
Uh-huh.
I would probably be in Congress or something like that. But I can't do it. Socialism is wrong.
Well, it's tough because, it's hard to compare a country like Sweden
Yeah.
with a country like the US, because the
Yeah.
US is a very unique country in that
Mm.
it's really an idea. It's built on some principles. It's built on the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, and it's a melting pot. Like, you can't say, oh, I speak a certain language, or I look a certain way, or I have a certain ethnicity. It's not based on any of that. No, but no matter how hard I try, I will never be Japanese, right?
Yeah.
And I will never be Swedish. I could move to Sweden and I could get a Swedish citizenship, maybe, right? But I really wouldn't be a Swede in the way
Yeah.
that the country's
But-
defined. It's a very
But I can go to America, spend a couple of years, get my citizenship, and I will be American.
yes, you would be as much of American as me or anybody who's been here for, their family's been here for hundreds of years, because it is the melting pot. That's the ideal.
Yeah.
And that's unique. There is really no other country like that. And so so when you're talking about, I want to be fair to the socialists, right? To say that a governmental system or a system that may work in Sweden may not work in the United States, and vice versa. And a lot of people look to the Scandinavian countries and their healthcare systems, for example, and they say, well, that's the model healthcare system. Whether it is or isn't, I'm not arguing, but I'm just saying that it may actually work in a country that is more unified as a country, as opposed to America. It wouldn't work at all because there's so many people that come here.
But Sweden, we have a population of Los Angeles. 8 to 10 million people, something of the
How
sort.
many?
We are approaching 10 million people. I have
That's
no
all?
idea.
Sweden?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking this up. I'm gonna Google this. Okay, what is it? Yeah, 10.57 million. Okay, so
Yeah.
that's basically the population of Metro Miami.
Yeah. So us having a centralized healthcare system, it's like Metro Miami having a centralized.
Right.
I mean, you can't compare with a country like ours or
Okay,
the
Metro Miami
entirety of
has-
Scandinavia, with what can we be? 25 million combined?
We're 6.5 million for the Metro Miami area. So yeah, and so you compare, like, basically Sweden is Miami, a little bit bigger, and so if something that works for Miami,
Yeah.
doesn't work for New York, or doesn't work for
No.
Charleston, West Virginia, or Denver, Colorado, or north in Salt Lake City. I mean, we have such a vast continent, and it's to say we're going to do something nationally like that, it just doesn't work. So anyway, but it's neat to have the political discussion. We're going to have a lot of talks like this when you come by.
Yeah, and we also we talked a few months ago in around Halloween about the Norwegian satanic murders, the black metal murders.
Norwegian what?
Yeah, Norwegian black metal murders.
Oh, black metal.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm not a fan of black metal. I mean, that's like, to me, it's like I'm a metalhead. I love thrash metal. I like heavy metal. But when you start adding these things, and just as much as like, first of all, I'm a Christian, and it's anti-Christian. So why should I support that? But it's also puts the evil ahead of the music. Just same thing with like white metal. I would prefer white metal, which is Christian metal. But again, you're putting the faith or whatever ahead of the music. And to me, you can celebrate God through your music by doing the best music you can possibly do. So why have the modifier? It's kind of like the modifier would say, well, I'm a Swedish American. No, you're an American. If you're an American, you're American, right? Or if you're, an Afro-American or a white American, all these hyphenated Americans, to me, that's a divisive thing. And I like to judge people by the content of their character.
Hey, you got a super chat.
Well, okay, I got a super chat?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, that's nice. Let me see. Hold on a second. Where did that come? What's it say? Scorpion 142, $20 super. Why, thank you. Love y'all both. Started my path to becoming a public defender this week. Wow, look at that.
Nice.
Congratulations. Well,
Congratulations.
advocate for your clients, and it's get your trials in. I'd be happy to give you as much guidance as I can. It's a great path. It's a great way to get a lot of trials. It can be a career. Maybe my situation is unique. I don't know, but don't ever forget yourself and your self-interest, because I was a 20-year public servant. And when it became politically inconvenient for me to be around, I was given the heave-ho. So you ultimately, and I landed on my feet because I have skills, but not everybody does. I mean, you be careful of your own career. Always be attentive to your own career and make sure you're doing what's right for you and your family. And because I'm very public service minded, and it's part of who I am. And I can't even, it's hard for me to rid myself. That's actually, I'd say, one of my weaknesses I'm having to learn or work with, is that I have a very strong public service kind of commitment, and doing civil is not about that.
Yeah.
But,
and I mean, and I agree. I mean, my path was that because I'm originally food tech. I was going into food engineering.
Food?
And
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. But then I got caught up in the union, and the union paid for my law degree.
Right.
And since then, I've been doing what I do.
And most people, I don't know. The thing is that I don't know. I mean, is it wrong that I wrote books? We're living in a strange society. America's, and I don't know if it's the Western civilization generally, America, or I think there's a sickness within Western civilization, and it's coming from the left. In my opinion, it's coming from the hard left, and it really goes back to an observation that, there's this statement about no enemies on the left, and Jordan Peterson talked about this a few years ago, and I think it's a good observation, is that conservatives and people on the right are very good about drawing boundaries. We're good at drawing lines and saying, okay, this person's in and this person's out, right? And so it's like, okay, well, if you're neo-Nazi or you're a racist or whatever, I don't want you in my party. You can do it. The left is more open. They're driven by openness generally. And that personality trait, it wants acceptance. And so they tend to not be able to draw those lines. And therefore, they can always get outflanked by somebody left. So if you say, for example, well, I'm for feeding all the children. Okay, well, that's a good idea. I accept that because I want all children to be fed. And then, but I can always outflank you. I can say, yes, but I want single mothers to be fed also. So I'm more moral than you because I want single mothers and children. Well, then they say, oh, well, okay, I agree with that. Well, then somebody else comes along and says, no, but I want all families. I want everybody. I want free food for everybody. Well, so I'm more moral than you because you want to cut people out. Okay, we concede that. Then all of it. Well, what about housing? What about healthcare? There's no limit to how far you can go until you result in full communism. It's hard for the leftists or the people on that side of the aisle, I'd say, to draw a line, a stopping point. Because what is the natural, rational stopping point? Steve Hayward, who's a very good conservative thinker in America, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but I've interviewed him a couple times, and he's a brilliant thinker. And he wrote a little statement on the back of Ideas and Laws for me. And he has that concept too, is that there's no natural stopping point. When you start buying into that government solution to problems, there's no natural stopping point on the left, and they're having trouble. And so it's really important that people that are on, because the left is a creative force, a destructive but creative force that has a need. We need to have a vital and healthy left. But right now it's completely demented and insane. And it's all about destruction, and there's no natural stopping point, and they're going as far as possible. And it's not healthy for our society. And I know that's happening in the United States. How I think it's happening Western civilization wide. Anyway, I don't know. I got off on a rant.
Now you got another one because people like you more than me.
Oh, stop. We're going to hang. We're going to have a blast.
Yeah.
You don't even know. We're going to have fun.
We are going to have so much fun. Assholes React. Can't wait to pick your brain tomorrow and talk about the trucking industry and accidents.
Oh, right. So I'm going to be on a webcast tomorrow about this guy. I don't know if you saw the immigrants. I think they're Sikhs. and they tried to make a U-turn
Yeah,
on
I
the
saw
Florida
that.
Turnpike, and this killed a family of 3 in their SUV. And oh, what a disaster! So they invited me on to talk about that. So I don't know. I'm just going in cold. I don't know anything about really anything. But because I'm doing trucking defense now, and because I have background in criminal law, it seems like a topic I might have some insights on. So we shall see.
Yeah. Now, let's get back to what we are planning to do. Dun, dun, dun. Now, I started to pan out because you said, "Oh, Metro Miami is
Right.
6 million people." Then I just panned out, and okay. Oh, there's Fort Lauderdale.
Yes.
Where's the boundary?
Yeah, it's just one super city. Yeah,
Pompano Beach, Boca Raton. I mean, seriously, West Palm Beach.
That's Palm Beach. That's where Mar-a-Lago is.
Oh, and
that's pretty much the end there. I'd say that Palm Beach and West Palm Beach right there, that's probably, I would say that's the stopping point.
Yeah.
So you could go up to Jensen Beach, but really West Palm Beach all the way down to Miami, that's kind of the South Florida super city.
Yeah.
But if you zoom into Miami a little bit closer there, you see that's there's the big shipping terminal. See that island right there?
Yeah.
That's the shipping terminal. And the shipping terminal's on the end, and that's where all the big cruise ships. You can see a cruise ship docked right there on the side. See that? Go. That's the shipping on. Look on the other side of the island, and now let's go up a little bit. There it is, right there. See the cruise ship?
Yeah.
So this is where all the cruise ships are, and so we'll drive right along there to get from Miami to Miami Beach. Back out a little bit. You drive along that road, and you can see all the ships, and then you go on to Miami Beach, which is to the right. Right there, that's Miami Beach. See there? Pretty neat.
Yeah.
That's this is where, and actually, Coral Gables, which is where I live, is actually the wealthiest zip. Well, there's a neighborhood in Coral Gables down to a little bit more to the south. If you look south along the ocean there, see there the museum. That is the richest zip code in the United States.
Oh.
We just surpassed Beverly Hills.
Oh.
So and those and actually and being here and living here, it's kind of a hard city to access, to understand. It's a big city. It's hard to really tune into it. But I completely understand why that is the wealthiest zip code, because number one, it's in the United States. Number two, it's on the water. Number three, it's in a tropical environment. Yeah, look, I mean, these houses right along those, see these houses right here? I mean, these are $30-40 million houses.
Yeah.
And they're you can take your boat and you're right into you're in the about 2 miles offshore is the Gulf Stream, some of the greatest deep sea fishing in the world. Right down the path is the Keys, which are some of the greatest scuba diving in the world. And you don't have to go through an inlet. You're right there in Biscayne Bay. So you just go, that's right on the bottom of South Florida. So it's an incredible place to live. It's it's free. It's in Florida, no income tax. And there's some mansions there that are just incredible. We'll drive through there and you can see some of the mansions, but yeah, that's Key Biscayne, right? What you're looking at right there, which is in the.
Okay, so you have the big apartments, and then here you have the houses.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to understand how much these houses are. Like in Coral Gables, we live in a modest little house, but it's hard to find a house under $1 million, and it's 40 square miles. 40 square miles, Coral Gables. And almost every house is over $1 million. So, but these houses are in the $30 and $40 million range, and we're talking neighborhoods, huh?
Yeah, and over here, I mean, we have very, very few houses that are in the 10 million plus.
Right.
If we have, it's often farms, the biggest ranches.
Right.
But I think the most expensive condo or apartment is in Stockholm, and that is, I believe, because I saw it in the newspaper not that long ago. It was a 27.5. 257 million Swedish krona, which is roughly 25 million. And that is in the center of our capital. It is 4 floors on a high rise.
Well, put a little, like, move a little bit to the left there. Like, move your screen to the left a little, that map. Down a little bit and along the ocean. See all these places where they're right in that area. You have yacht clubs. Like, just take your little, like, go back, go up. See, we'll go to one of those neighborhoods and just drop your little handy dandy Google guy on one of those streets. Just on one of those streets, like maybe over to the left a little bit. And you'll just, and we'll drive you around here. You can see, you see, the little handy dandy street view guy. You know how to do that? Oh. No, the street guy, the little figure on the bottom right of your screen. There's a little guy. Yeah, there you go.
But I don't. Let's see.
Street view.
Yeah. Let's see if we can do street view here. No.
Yeah. You should be able to take that little guy and drop him on one of those streets.
No.
Yeah, that's it. Drag and drop. You ever done that? Yeah, just drop him right there.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, see there? I mean, these houses are unbelievable. And you can just ride along the street. Yeah, I mean, some of them, the really big ones, you can't see. Like I had took my friends by Barry Gibb's house. Do you know who Barry Gibb is?
Gibb family, yeah.
Yeah, the Gibb family, who's the Bee Gees.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I drove by, I took some of my friends and I said, there's Barry Gibb's house. And I was like, they probably have such security cameras there. Yeah, there's some the houses, you can't really see them there because they're behind the trees. They like their privacy, right? But this is very high-end stuff. Kind of neat, isn't it? And but we were thinking that they probably got our license plate down. It's like, this guy's a stalker, run his license plate, he's driving by Barry Gibb's house. Yeah. Anyways, it's beautiful, but it's a great place because, see, if you've got tons and tons of money, I couldn't think of any place you'd rather be.
Yeah, I mean, unless there is a hurricane.
Yeah, but these, I'm actually, after you've been here, I wouldn't worry about hurricanes so much. If I was, Tampa is much more vulnerable to hurricanes than is Miami. Miami could be hit by a hurricane, and yes, it has but most of these houses are built so strong and they're built high that it would take I don't know. And plus, if you've got the kind of money, you shouldn't worry about it. You just take your yacht and go up the Intracoastal. Yeah, these are called the Billionaire Islands in there. You see those islands there?
Venetian Islands.
Yeah, those are Billionaire Islands. Drop your guy into one of those. Take a look. So these houses are super exclusive. And they don't even look that much, You look at them, you're like, that's not that big a deal, but they're beautiful.
I mean, the little bungalows.
Beautiful. They're cute.
And there we have under construction.
Right. Isn't that neat?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are the islands where all the, what do they call it? Tom Brady, the Wayne Huizenga, the owner of the Miami Dolphins, owns the multi-billionaires.
I mean, everything here, I assume, is gated.
Yes, these islands are all gated.
Yeah.
And then if you go onto the Miami Beach, go to the right there, and you'll go to the Miami Beach. See there, this is where the Versace mansion is. See, you probably see it right there. And this road along the way, this is where Miami Vice was filmed. A lot of on the beach is what typically that road right there, where all the Art Deco buildings are. Those are condos at the point there. But if you go up a little bit, right along the beach that way, all these are beautiful Art Deco buildings. And Miami see that road right there? Drop your little guy right there. That's a big tourist area. That's where all the tourists congregate. That next one more over to the left. Yeah, that. Okay, so this is this is the main drag along Miami in the Miami Beach, and all of these are restaurants and bars, and the bird cage was filmed here, and all of these are Art Deco buildings. We'll drive down this road when we show you around.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's really beautiful, really beautiful.
Now, we were talking about visiting Cuban quarters.
Yeah, that's on 8th Street. So if you go back, all right, see the go to the left. They call that Calle Ocho. Okay, right down, right. Your thing is right over it. Yeah, that's it. So that's Little Havana right there. It's really centered around between Flagler and 8th Street there. It's not really that impressive, I gotta say, but the culture is here, and you've got some. Oh yeah, I go to that. That's where I get my car washed and oil changed.
Oh.
not there. Next one over, a little further to the left. There. See that place? That's a great place. Car wash and oil change.
Oh.
No, but it's not so much. There's not buildings or anything that jumps out at you, but the restaurants and the people are wonderful. The Hispanic culture here is very strong. There's a lot of great restaurants, and when you're here, there's a feel. It's just different from America. I mean, it's a really Miami-Dade County. It's a separate culture. You know, people don't understand how different it is from. You know, these houses are okay, but they're very expensive, but they're not, spectacular houses.
They're nice little bungalows. I mean,
yeah, but these houses are probably 600,000-700,000 maybe a piece.
Hey, it's almost affordable.
But the neat thing is the restaurants and the food and the culture and the people, and the Catholic Church is very strong. There's a lot of good Catholic churches here.
Let's see here.
So that's a community. There's the design district, which we'll take you to, which, there's only a few design districts in the world. There's Paris, New York, Milan. What is the other big design districts? Yeah, these are all. So the big city part is, this is just. Oh, there's also Wynwood. This is not a. It's not there. There's a certain third world element here too. If you go to the upper right, now zoom in right there. That's to the little right. We're almost there. That's the design district, the Miami Design District. So this is where there's all very high-end shops like Rolex and Tiffany and Company and all these very high-end shopping, and it's a large area, multi streets, and that's fun to see. Yeah, I'm not a big fashion, but there aren't many fashion districts in the country, so that's one of them.
Cars and guitars.
Guitar place, yeah, that's a cool place. And then there's Wynwood, which is sort of a community that was kind of neglected for a while, but is now being gentrified. A lot of the young hipsters are coming in, and they paint all the graffiti on the walls, and it's a little funky, and it's more young and kind of young party people. So that's Wynwood is big. Yeah, and cigars. I've been looking for a good cigar. I think you might just have to come over to my house, and we'll smoke cigars at my house.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind.
Yeah.
So let's see. Oh, City Cigar Lounge.
Yeah, so I know the problem with cigar lounges, it's packed with people smoking cigars. And the problem with that, and I just don't want to breathe other people's cigar smoke. We'll sit outside and just have smoke a cigar. But pretty neat. It's a big city, and it's packed. And it's right there at the end. See, it's right on the end of Florida, and you can access that Biscayne Bay. It's just spectacular boating, and right off the coast is the Gulf Stream. Gulfstream's very close. When you get up to Daytona, it takes you a couple hours to get to the Gulf Stream. Here, it's just 10 minutes off the coast, and that's where all the good deep sea fishing is. All kinds of stuff there. Doral. Okay, if you look over to the left, see the airport there? See the airport? Sort of in the center of the city, right into the blue right there. That's the airport. See the big airport?
Mm.
So that's look to the left, and you'll see Trump's door hole facility. So this is where the PGA is going to come. Go back out a little bit. You'll see it sort of at the left side of the airport. Back up a little bit. See the golf course up there? That's that right there. That's Trump's golf course.
Oh.
That's the Trump Doral. See right there, Trump National. And they're going to have a PGA. It's going to be a PGA stop there. So that's kind of neat. Lots of fun stuff. There's lots of stuff. We'll you know, I don't know if you like driving around. I love driving around and showing people.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I don't mind driving around to see stuff as long as I can also get out of the car and go in and look places. And
Yeah. Whatever you want. You're in charge. But it's going to be. We're going to have a good time. So and people can join us. So we'll stop at Julia and Henry's, which is right downtown Miami. We'll stop at Julia and Henry's on September 20th at 6:30. So anybody can show up, and we'll be there. We'll be eating and hanging out. It's really this is where all the big, you know, that along the bayfront there's called the Bayfront and Brickell. Bayfront is kind of to the north of the Miami River there, so the Miami River, and Brickell is to the south of the Miami River. But that's where all the big buildings are in Metro Miami. I mean, drop a little guy right there. You'll get a sense of that. Look up. Yeah. You really, that's not the bed. You probably need to see it from the, actually go drop one on the bay, like on that road that's driving away so you can look back at it. See the road up onto the top right corner in the island, look back at the skyline. So you go up all the way to the end of that road, right on the bridge, drop it right there on the bridge. Right there. Yeah. Now look back. See, you can see that's the Miami skyline. Yeah. Fun. This is going to be fun. Aren't you looking? Isn't this going to be exciting? This is tropical. What's a Swede like you going to do in Miami?
Yeah. And it's not the Texas humidity heat. It is September, almost mid to end of September, Florida. Yeah.
Oh. No, it's good. Well, and you're really going to see, and you know, you've been to the States before, but what parts of it have you visited?
Well, when I drove through, let's see here. Dun, dun, dun.
We'll call magic. Yeah, if you can show. And Danielle, you're invited, of course. And September, it's always tropical. This is the tropics. So this is not, so it doesn't really get cold here. I mean, it doesn't freeze. Let's put it that way. It doesn't freeze in Miami, but it can drop down, but it'll snap pretty quick. Somebody's asking about the weather in September. I mean, you're almost there. I mean, it's still hot. You know, it's rainy and hot. So evenings.
So let's see here. Let's show it. This is the route I took.
Oh, okay. So you were in Houston, New Orleans, Atlanta, Chattanooga. Oh, that's exciting. And then you went to, let me see, where else is that?
Delphi, outside, it's west of Indianapolis.
Okay. And where did you end up there? Is that
Detroit?
Okay. Yeah. Well, that's interesting. So that's an interesting, you're really going to see different sides of the states.
Yeah.
Because Texas is its own world. New Orleans is its own world. Atlanta, Chattanooga, you're in the deep south there.
And I'll be 2 weeks here, Salt Lake City. I will be
right
in, let's see here. Then I will be here in Logan.
Now you say that's upcoming. You haven't been there yet.
No, I haven't been there yet.
Yes. Oh, Utah is beautiful. I think southern Utah, if you can get down to southern Utah, the national parks along the south are just
one of the
it's some of the most beautiful spots in the world right along here. So you've got national parks on the far right. On the far right is Moab. See if you can see that. Moab on the right hand side of Utah, and that is
There.
see Moab right there. Yeah, that's it. So right there is Arches National
Yeah.
Park. So you
Yeah,
start there.
that is the one of the places I'm actually going.
Al,
So
that is-
I will be in Logan. I mean, I will be meeting up with Dania Ahn and
Right.
Connor, and then I will be in Logan because Jeff is buried in Logan.
right.
And then I will head south. I rented a camper van.
Excellent. Perfect. And I will say, as you know, I know that you're not somebody who's a big hiker, that you have a cane, is that correct?
Yeah, I use cane.
Well, the Arches is a great national park for you then, because it's very accessible. You can you drive into it, and you can see lots of arches with very minimal hiking, very minimal. So as far as somebody who doesn't walk or hike a lot, Moab and Arches will be a great national park for you. So big one on that. Now, if you back up a little bit, there's multiple. So you go all the way from Moab all the way over to the other side is Bryce Canyon and what's the name of the Angel Point and Zion National Park on the kind of the southwest corner of Utah. See if you can see southwest corner of Utah is Zion. Can you see Zion National Park?
Yeah, Zion National Park.
That is one of the greatest national parks. Now, this one here, you can access it, you can drive through it, and it's a beautiful valley, and you can see it. But some of the stuff that the greatest stuff, you really have to struggle and hike, including a Slot Canyon River. And but that's beautiful scenery there. And just to the right, just to the west, to the east of Zion is Bryce Canyon. If you can see Bryce Canyon National Park. Right up to you passed it to the left, Bryce Canyon, right, almost there. Here it is. So that's Bryce Canyon. Take a look at that. Now you can see that from above. See some of the pictures there? This is a very famous spot. We hiked down in it. This was a very hard hike for us Florida Flatlanders. It's an 800-foot up and down, which was very difficult. But you can stay up on top and look down into the canyon, and it's spectacular. And now if you see to the right of that, going off, there's Grand Staircase, I think it's called. There's the Canyonlands National Park and one other national park. And those are just beautiful. Basically all of southern Utah is national parks, and they're all just wonderful to see. Some of the most beautiful areas, I think, in the whole country is right there in the south.
Jem the Couchberry said they rode horses through Bryce Canyon.
Yes.
I'm going to have a really swell time. Actually, this is the van I'm renting.
Look at you. Can you sleep in that?
Yeah. Hold on.
Really? Let me see. That's neat. Oh, wow. That's exciting.
So it turns from this to this.
Excellent. Well, southern Utah, spectacular, and you're going to get to see Jeff's.
You get cooking and fridge.
You're going to hang out with Vice Baby, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, 12 days, that camper van can drive an average of 100 miles per day. So 1,200 miles for 12 days. I calculated in the top end 900. So
what do you mean you can drive 100 miles a day? I can drive 100 miles in a
Well, I can drive more, but that is what I booked it for. Because then I get a certain price if I drive up to 100 miles per day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's easy. I mean, the distances here we're talking are very large.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if people haven't misunderstand how big these areas are.
Yeah.
So,
for instance, if we go back to this one, I'm going up to Logan to visit Jeff.
Yeah, do a distance from Logan to say Moab. and then do a direction. Go to Moab. Moab.
314 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, but once I get there, I'm going to stay there for a couple of days.
Okay. Well,
So the average goes
drive.
down. Yeah,
Huh?
so the average goes down.
Okay.
So
Okay.
more or less.
Well, I'm just making sure that you're tuned into the distances because
Hmm.
that's a fun drive. And once you get out of Salt Lake City, I mean, Salt Lake City, I'm not really impressed. It's not the most beautiful city. It's a big city. It's an American city. It's not. It doesn't have the geological beauty of southern Utah. I mean, I love national parks and the natural beauty that is there. I mean, it's a nice city. I'm not dissing the city. I'm just saying it's populated. It's just a natural. It's an American city. If once you get out of that, then your drives are really fun. And take your time. Smell the roses. You're going to have so much fun. Boy, I wish I could be weird with you. I'd love to get in that van and drive along with you. I love driving tours. That's my idea of a vacation.
Yeah, I do have my stops because I more or less every hour I have to stop and stretch everything.
Yes.
So, and thank you to Slidey Pie over at Rumble. For your $2.
Well, if somebody, we ought to do some fundraising for your trip. So, like, if somebody wants to donate, what's a good drink number? I'll drink a sidecar with you Saturday night.
It's Saturday night, folks. It's Saturday night. Maybe I should get the Wheel of Regrets.
Well, I don't know about that. That's for you. I'll say if somebody wants to help out Nick with his thing, I'll look at the kitty cat. Oh, and I got a special something I want to show you too. So somebody donates some money to Nik Starow for his trip to Miami so that he's got some cash to go around when he's traveling and visiting me. It's tough for these Swedes, these high Miami prices. and I'll get a sidecar. But I want to show you something else I got. Okay, hold on a second. All right,
but I did this. Or I do have tonic water. I have gin. I mean, I have decent glass. I don't have a number. I really don't. And aren't I still regretting last night? Last night was, it was 3 shots. And folks, when I have my fundraisers, I have 12 to 20 shots. So yesterday was, it was nice. It was nice. But thank you, all the people who donated yesterday in the Slightly Bust Friday Law Show. Thank you so much yesterday.
Well, what you got? Gin shot, tequila shot, vodka, whiskey, sour. Oh, okay. So it's all alcohol. So it's not one of these. You're eating some hot sauce.
No. But let's say $50 in supers.
And Nick and I will do the ones that have previously donated count.
Well, for you maybe.
For me. Well, this is your stream, so. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. I want to show you something. I got a special something that I'll reveal on your show if you don't mind. Check this out. This is Brucey.
Oh,
Brucey, the one-eyed wonder dog. See, I got it. Look, there's his eye. There's his missing eye. See, and he's got his little. Let me see his little collar. Bandana. See that says Brucey on it. How cool is that? And then look, here's his tag. His tag says Brucey. So that's Brucey, the one-eyed wonder dog, in stuffed animal form. How cool is that? I don't know. I thought that was kind of neat.
Yeah, I know, but I haven't advertised this one as one of these streams, so I do have a bunch of people who show up when I have that.
I got you. No problem. I'm just trying to make, because I'm really excited about you coming visiting, and I want to make sure we can make it, so that you can afford to do it and you can come back, because you're really going to see some good parts of the United States. Yeah. So many people go to like LA and see the Hollywood sign or the Golden Gate Bridge, which is cool, or they go to New York, but you're seeing like the heartland, you're seeing some parts of the United States that to me as a American, those are the places, places that where you're going in Utah, for southern Utah, that is to me destination number one for anybody who loves nature. And Miami, which is a spectacular city, American city that a lot of, it's funny because the people that really love Miami generally are from South America and Central America. So when Central Americans, South Americans come and visit the States, they generally come to Miami. So, but the,
here we go. Let me know when you are in Houston or New Orleans. I went there last year. Oh, Houston or New Orleans. I spent a ton of time
is that Matt himself? I don't know. Is that Matt?
Yeah.
Okay, hey, Matt. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, good to see you. And thank you.
Here we go.
Well, that gets you a spin on the wheel of regrets.
Spin on it. I will drink with you.
Dun dun dun! Wheel of regrets.
Oh, you're right on the line. Gin.
All right. I will use my Texas shot glass in the shape of a revolver. Have you seen this one?
No, let me see it. Put it up. Put it on big screen. Oh, okay. Come
and take it. And where's my gin?
Well, Matt himself is a he does some streaming. He does like oil pipeline inspection. Isn't that what it is? I mean, it's a very interesting job, but he lives in that area and kind of goes all over. I haven't seen him in a while. Good to see you, buddy. He's been a supporter of mine and supported a lot of my books, and I appreciate all the help.
Maybe I should make this into a gin and tonic instead.
Well, I think I think you got permission to do a mix if you want.
But a shot is that's not a proper gin and tonic. A little extra, a little extra.
Yeah, thank you.
And tonic water in a plastic.
Yeah, Jen, I agree. You should take on. I've got a really big trip planned at the end of the year. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
And thank you, Matthew. Thank you.
Very kind. Matt himself, good man, big supporter of mine. I appreciate it, and I want to thank you for all the help you give getting all my books done, and that was, I had a little run there. So cheers, man.
Cheers.
God bless you. God bless you, Matt. God bless you, Nick. Can't wait to see you, and I hope people join us. Come to Miami and hang out. Wouldn't that be fun to have a little crew? I don't really even care if it's a big crew. I met some really neat people. I did like I said, doing some streaming. The one thing I really enjoy, the thing that has been a great reward I guess it outweighs a lot of the suffering and punishment that I've been subjected to by this nasty media that we have. But I've gotten to meet some good people. I know I met some really good friends up in West Virginia. They came to my Charleston meet and greet, and they're really neat people. And West Virginia Mountain Mom, you might see her occasionally. When we did the Nik out in Las Vegas thing, you remember that?
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. I met some good people out there, and this, Andrew Branca is a friend, and I met him. Legal Mindset. I've met Legal Mindset actually, and MLS Law, and Kaiser Pineapple, and the Expert, and some neat people. So cheers, thank you.
Yeah, when I was up in Tennessee, I met with
Valhalla.
I met with the Expert. I met the families. I met Valhalla Waits. I met
Valhalla Waits is a neat guy. I really like him, and he and I are very different, but it's like he's like my brother. I mean, I there's something about him that I'm just bonded to him. He's like one of my man brothers, you know, because we both have seen a lot, you know, in different ways, but we've both been through hell, and you know, it's kind of going through the trenches with somebody. He has, well, you know, we have different trenches that we had to go through, very, very different. But I recognize the soul, the fact that somebody's been through that and chooses. I want to actually, let me tell you about, this is a thought I've been thinking about, because here's one of the problems with our society generally, and I opined on my own channel, but I thought I'll bounce it off you because that's an interesting thought, is that it's like, well, Gosney, you wrote this book, and you wrote a book, and you wrote about evil. You wrote about bad people doing bad things, you know, murder, you know, misogyny. You've written about all these evil things. And the thing is that I have seen these things. I have experienced them. I've dealt with them. You know, I've had probably 7,000 criminal cases I've had to deal with, including over 500 appeals, death penalty cases, many murders, multiple murders, children homicides, sex offenses against everybody and everything. And I've seen all that, right? Well, does that mean that I can't be a good person? Because I think there's this expectation, there's this idea that good means innocent and inexperienced,
naive. Yeah.
And that is a major, major flaw. It's like, well, you're not a Christian because you talk about heavy metal music or you talk about murder, or you did, you know, that's such a simple, childish, infantile way of seeing goodness. And Christianity, it's not, goodness is not stupidity and ignorance. Goodness is when you confront evil with the armor of God and choose, after you've been subjected to that in a conscious way, you choose the right path. You know, does that, I mean, am I making sense here?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in the same area of, I mean, for me, it's, when you can differentiate, when you see bad stuff, really bad stuff. I mean, I'm not in criminal law, but I am in labor and employment. I've seen pictures of scalps torn off. I've seen the guy who was covered in quicklime from a workplace accident. And I heard the surveillance of when that man was screaming, because it hit his legs. A big cake inside a silo of quicklime. And when it went through his legs, it also catheterized his veins. So he was still alive for almost 2 minutes while that thing ate him up. I mean, so yeah. But when you have something, when you see an experience and see all that, you have something to compare with.
But also, you know, we can talk about evil situations. I can talk about murder and talk about unethical people and evil people and understand them. And we can have a discussion about evil. And it doesn't mean that we are evil. It means that we are dealing with evil. We are discussing evil.
We acknowledge its existence, but it doesn't mean that we succumb to it.
Exactly. And so, but there's this infantile view that, well, if you are not this ignorant and innocent, that you are not good. I don't know. Does that, I've just,
I must say, I don't see that as much. I do see a lot of hypocrisy.
Well, maybe
people who claim good, but they have to pull other people down in order to enhance themselves in their goodness.
It may be just a rhetorical weapon.
Yeah.
it may be just a way to project, well, you're the one talking about this evil stuff, right?
Yeah.
How could you think these evil thoughts? Right?
Yeah,
Well, how can I think the evil thoughts? I've experienced them. I've seen them. And I have to deal with them. And I have to process them. And I have to come up with a philosophical framework to deal with evil. And that's a struggle that we all should deal with, because evil exists and we have to respond to evil.
Yeah. And now over here, we have these huge movements for censorship with in the UK and the rest of the European Union, where no, you can't talk about it because they think of the children. We have to limit free speech because think of the children. Yeah, but when they limit the speech in that direction, they also limit the speech of the victims who tries to, here's the problem, we have to talk about it, here's how we can do anything about it. So while they say, oh, we are trying to do something about the pedos.
But you're the bad person for talking about it. How dare you talk about these things? I mean, so let's shut you down. And by shutting you up about it, if everybody shuts up about it, the problem doesn't exist.
Yeah, some people believe it, but I have this, I've used it on a couple of occasions. Who, in that scenario of abuser minor, is the person who says, shh, don't talk about it? It's the abuser. And here the state is that person who says, don't talk about it, it is our secret. I mean,
right. Well, and the fact is that evil doesn't want you talking about evil.
No.
Because we as people, as human beings, evil exists, and we need to struggle with it, and we need to bring it to the conscious level and have a framework for understanding it and having language to describe it. If we are silenced, then evil can have its way on us.
Yeah.
And this idea that if we shut everybody up about it, we don't. And there's this also this projection of moral superiority that that if I want to be morally superior, and so the way why I become moral is by opposing evil that is outside of me. So, for example, well, you're a Nazi, or you're a hater, you're a misogynist, or you're a whatever, right? And so I think that that's evil. Misogyny is evil. So by opposing you, now it makes me moral. See, but you don't gain my morality by a negative thought, by opposing something. Goodness requires action and commitment and dedication. And it's difficult. It's not simply buying into a philosophy and opposing that which you project outside of yourself that's evil.
Yeah. And why these people are shutting people up, how are we supposed to teach our youngs to avoid these scenarios? How are we supposed to teach our children this is what to look out for when we are not allowed to talk about it?
Right. Well, and sometimes in talking, free speech, as we're talking about, right, is an exercise in thinking. So as we're talking, and I'm sharing this because I've already had this thought and I shared it with my channel, but I want to bounce it off of you now. And I want to have a conversation with you because you are an honest person who I respect, who has an intellectual view of things and has a very different perspective on a lot of things. And so I want to throw these on, think about these ideas out loud by verbalizing them. And then by verbalizing, now I'm reflecting. Now you bounce off your ideas and we grow. We are seeking the truth together. And I may be completely off. I may be completely off in la land, or maybe I haven't thought about different sides. So free speech allows for this kind of discussion when both parties are honest and seeking the truth and are not seeking to be morally superior or seeking to get some sort of argumental advantage. I sent my book, Death Penalty Debates, to this fellow named Andrew Wilson. I don't know if you know Andrew Wilson.
Yeah, I heard the name before.
He's a professional debater, and he does a lot of stuff on male-female relationships and traditional relationships versus whatever we have going on in the world now. And I saw he did a debate over the death penalty. And it was interesting because I think he kind of agrees with my position, but it was interesting because he's a very good debater and a very thoughtful person, very smart, kind of a scarily good debater, right? But I was like, wow, that's somebody I would like to have a discussion with because they have thought about their positions, they challenge you. And I think that he's honest in his views. He's honest, he's seeking the truth. And now, of course, there's also this entertainment thing where it's like, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in somebody who's seeking the truth and who is not seeking to be morally superior and seek some kind of advantage or to put you down or to get a point. Like, let's seek the truth together. I mean, and that can be leftists, people on the left or right or anybody. Honesty is the key.
Yeah, because you get more out of a discussion than a debate. Because especially a public debate, you have two people with their views and they talk about their views. They are not there to talk to each other. They are there to convince, vote for me or clicks or whatever's. I'd rather have people here who I can have discussions with.
But there can be a value in a public debate in that people can learn from the discussion. But I really do think, and I was, you don't know if you know, I was on the radio for many years. I was a radio guest on a show called The Mark Bernier Show in Daytona Beach for many, many years. I knew Mark Bernier. And I would go and we called it, I would go on there as a special guest for like 3 hours and I'd field phone calls and we'd have discussion, politics and stuff. And then we would do something called Volutionaries. So I did a lot of talking on the radio back when talk radio, he had the show that followed Rush Limbaugh's show. And so we would do discussion panels and he was really a neat guy, passed away. But anyways, people would call in at the thing and I would say, okay, here's some rules for my callers. And I would try to, are you seeking the truth? Are you being honest? And are you honestly debating? Are you honestly interested in seeking that? Or is there some value in what you're doing? If you're just trying to score points and put people down and tear people down, I'm not interested. Go away, you know? And it's really a problem in the society. There's keyboard warriors that want to just destroy, that hurt people. And I don't know. I don't understand that, except that, you know, they're looking for meaning in their life. And they found their meaning again by projecting onto others and destroying and saying, well, if I can't be, I don't know. It's a destructive impulse that's given them meaning. I wish that those people that had that destructive impulse would instead look to something more positive, look to areas where they can improve the world marginally. Yeah.
Thank you to Jen the Couch Fairy for $10 via PayPal. Much appreciated. If you choose, I would prefer you choose PayPal because then I access it now. What gets through YouTube, I get then when I get back. Not that I'm saying anything to Matthew, because I will probably need to replenish some of my funds after I get back. But so definitely thank you. And to all that financially support. I'm such a bad grifter because I always tell my audience, don't if you can't. If you're saying, oh, I really wish I could, then don't. Oh, I might have $3 here. Don't. I specifically ban you. Folks,
right.
I'm doing okay. I get some ad revenue. I get the occasional super chat, the gifted memberships. There are people around that supports me financially. If you want to support financially, go watch my videos. That's the way you can do it.
And it's appreciated. And the thing is there's people that can give, and those people, like we saw Matt himself. I mean, he's a big supporter, and there's people out there who are very generous. And you know, and this is the thing, they are supporting something that they believe in. You know, Matt supported my books because he believed in what I was writing and what I was contributing to the you know, whatever the discussion was. I had a few people that were very big supporters of mine and are. And you know, and so that's a good way. If you know, that's a good way. Like, better to do that than to tear down.
Yeah.
If you're going to come in and like be a graffiti artist, and you know, go away, go someplace else, go support, find the person that's got something positive that's making the world a better place, and support that.
Yeah, and my channel, I do, as I have up here, the snark attack. I get snarky on my, but so that is my niche. It's not for everyone. I have about once a month, I have a person who claims to be Christian and says, "You are using Jesus' name in bad faith." Okay, how was that not obvious? I mean, I curse. This is what you see on my streams and on my videos is the toned down version of me. Because over here, we curse a lot. And our main cursing is about religion and farm tools. While the Americans, you Americans, when you curse, there's often some sexual undertones. We do religion and farm tools.
That's funny. Well, farm tools. The farm tools is the funny one. Look, Zach contributed $1.99 just to annoy Nick.
Yeah, on your channel.
That's funny, Zach. Thank you. And I see Slidey Pie. You know, see, this is another thing. Slidey Pie. You know, she read a couple of my books in full on her channel, which was so cool. And to me, I'm just so flattered that people took, like, Vice Baby read my books, including Scooter Asks Where Is God, which is a free book. I have a free ebook on my website to give out, and I just want people to read it. That's the thing. I want to provide something that is valuable to them, that they can read to their children, because so much of what we were talking a little earlier about the values, you know, talking about good and evil. The good and evil words have been systematically destroyed in our culture, so that people have been robbed of the vocabulary to deal with good and evil. You know, you always hear this when people talk about, you know, Hitler. Okay, this person is fascist, or they're a Hitler. Well, that Hitler was a historical figure, and, you know, yes, evil, but the real word is evil. Yeah, but people don't want to use the word evil because it sounds too religious, right? And so they've been robbed of that good and evil dichotomy, right and wrong. We can't call something right or wrong. We're truthful and false, or good or evil, right? Instead, so we don't have that vocabulary. So instead, people fall down to, well, this person's a Hitler, when really they're making a moral judgment. Well, let's talk in moral language, not in historical language then.
And I mean, first of all, English is not my first language. And I do believe that I have a decent vocabulary. And that is why, if I choose, I could have a large stream without a single curse word. I've had a bunch of them. I don't have a problem with it. But when something happens in court that either I take a 5-minute description, this is why this is wrong, I can just say, this is fucked up. Well, now, have I time for it? I will make that 5-minute argument.
Right. No, I get it. And I'm not, you know, I see Slidey Pie saying I very consciously work not to curse. And I will say this is one of my failings and one of my sins. And if you've seen in my book, Prepare, I talk a little bit about this, because I used to curse like a sailor. But first of all, I find that calling the curse words from your vocabulary forces you to think about what you really mean. It's a crutch for emotion. So it's a way for people to add emphasis and emotion, and they really, it's just sort of it's an emotional word, where I think that if you eliminate that word, then it forces you to think about a better vocabulary word to better describe it. I think it can take away from your rationality, from your coherence. And also, I will say, in Prepare, I have a very close friend. One of my closest friends was named Derek, and he passed away. about 18 years ago, I think, about this time. Anyway, I talk about it in my book. It's very hard for me to talk about Derek. He was a beautiful man. And I remember I used to curse up a storm, and he was very, very Catholic. This was before I was Catholic. And every time I'd curse, he'd get this like pain in his face. And I remember him sitting me down, and only Derek could do this because he was such a beautiful man. And he said, "See, I'm really concerned. You know, you're too smart to be using this curse. You need to. I'm concerned for your soul. I want you to be a better person, right?" And he's right about that. I would be a better person if I removed that element of my personality. So I've worked very hard to discipline myself not to curse. But I will say that I am, that is a major flaw. I can curse like a sailor and have that, and I think it, but I edit myself and try to think, well, what am I really trying to say? And I always think about my friend Derek, and I try to be better, but I fail. But I do strive because I think it makes me a better person by not doing that. And the world is vulgar enough. Let's not add to that. So I don't know. Is that a Slidey Pipe brought that up, and I don't feel like I'm better than anybody or anything. In fact, I think it, I feel it. I've said it, and I believe me, that is a weakness in me. But we should strive. Like, isn't it better? Here's a moral judgment. Isn't it better not to curse? Well, I would say generally yes. Okay, so let's strive for that ideal. Now I'll fail. Everybody fails. But by having that ideal, it's like a judgment. People hate it when you make a statement like that. It's better not to curse. Well, you're telling me because I curse that you're condemning me, right? Because all standards are, in essence, a judgment on ourselves and others, right? Because we all fall short of the ideal. So let's talk about. Let's not think we're all perfect.
And for me, I'd rather hear the truth from dirty language than a high ground person saying very nice things that are false.
Absolutely, and absolutely, and the fact is that Freedom Ring is here. Hey, Freedom Ring,
Hey.
She's a Floridian. You can come down. Why don't you come down to Miami? Visit us September 20th. Nick and I are going to be at Julian Henry's, 6 o'clock, 6:30. Julian Henry's, downtown Miami. We'll have a meet and greet. We'll have dinner. We'll drink, smoke, whatever we can do. So I'd love to see if she's a fellow Floridian.
Yeah, here we will be. Julian Henry's Food Hall at West Flagler Street.
Yeah, it's really kind of, it's just downtown Miami. I mean, it's in, you put your little guy there. Put your little guy there, yeah. Whoops, looks like you're in a garage. You landed in the garage.
I had no idea.
Go out the street there.
How did I do that? All right, let's get out on the street instead.
Yeah,
No, that's not the right street.
You don't look on the street. Look up. What are you doing? Going to the bike shop? Look, you're really exploring.
What's going on?
I don't know.
Let's try this again. There we are.
Yeah.
Where is it?
It's right around there somewhere. Let's see. Turn around to the right. No, around right. It's on the corner. Go. No, keep going other way.
That way.
Go to the, look on the little to the left there. A little left. Should be. It's on one of those corners, right there.
Why
no, it's not there. It's around there.
Oh.
Yeah, go.
Let's try again.
Yeah, go closer.
And do this.
There you go.
Flagler building.
Go down the street. Go down one click to that intersection right there. Okay, now turn around. Should be on this left corner there. Left, right. That should be it right there. Oh, look at that. That's odd. That looks like it should be on the left, on the right. Now go to the right. Should be that corner right there. Huh? That should be it right there.
because I'm looking over here and it says it's. I mean, there it is. Julian Henry's Feast Miami Eatery. There it is. When Steve was describing the Florida Keys, I heard
Yeah, there it
Dolly
is, right there,
singing
yeah.
Islands in the Stream.
That's it right there.
Yeah.
Oh, Islands in the Stream. That was written by Barry Gibb.
Thank you to Mad World. Gosney is the sweetest. Nix is the sexiest. Thank you. By the way, don't take offense. I will not take offense to that.
No, I'm okay. I'm a married guy.
Thank you so much. And
Yeah,
it's
Freedom Ring,
£5, which is basically $100.
Fly down. Fly down for the day, man. Come down, visit. It's a weekend, so you can just fly Miami International Airport, come stay downtown, see Miami, and make a weekend of it.
Hey, Dolly, can you make the trip? I mean, Arizona to Miami, it's not that far. It might be. I mean, I'll be closer to Dali when I am in Utah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, Tampa.
Arizona is just south of Utah, isn't it?
What's that? Arizona is near Utah, yes, right there. But Arizona is one of my favorite states too. I love it. I love the West. The West is great. You will. I'm really happy that you're going to see that part of the country because it is a wonderful area.
Yeah, but as we said earlier, I mean, I went through the Appalachians. I went through rural America when I was out driving. I went to, I mean, grills and stuff that only locals, and I just stepped in, and people were so welcome.
Oh, people, this is the
thing.
Oh,
who are you? Where are you from? Oh, that's interesting. And I could, while eating, people moved over to my table and we just talked for an hour.
Oh, yeah.
And
people of that's the heartland of America. Those are real Americans. And I don't think a lot of the Europeans and the people that are visiting there are a very specific slice of Americana, right? But the people that you're meeting there, those are just good, wholesome, good people of America. And I think you're really, that's a great way. I'm so happy you went to Chattanooga. Great people. Tennessee is a great state. All through there, it's great. I love it.
And my family and colleagues and friends, when I came back in end of August of last year, I told them Trump is going to win. And I said, because I drove through rural America, and outside every church, there was a Trump sign.
Well, that's true, but you got to understand that the center of power for the Democratic Party is the big cities, and so you have very small, concentrated, high population areas that stuff those ballot boxes, and so yes, the wide swath of America is mostly Republican, mostly.
Yeah, but I drove through swing states, and it was the same thing.
Right. Well, it's a split country. I'm very happy. One of the things that I really think is important for Trump to do, which I've seen some action on this front, we need to have the day of voting, IDs, and paper ballots. I mean, because
which coincidentally is the Swedish system.
Well, and in fact, the Carter Center, which monitors elections throughout the world, which is a great thing the Carter Center does. That's Jimmy Carter. Our systems, that this loosey-goosey, anybody can vote, you get your phone out and all that is not acceptable. When we talk about monitoring free and fair elections in third world countries, the systems that are being pushed are basically designed to be filled with fraud. It's an attack on the republic. And I don't care what your political persuasion is. If you believe in elections, then we should want free and fair elections, and that means paper ballots the day of voting with voter ID, and that's
over here we have that system. We have this big catalog of. You walk into the voting station, and there's all the parties are up there. that you can vote for, and you pick a few. You go behind the curtain, and then you can throw the others away, and anonymously you vote. And then you walk up, you show your ID. Now I have voted. It doesn't say, we don't have this. You have to register to anything because you're pre-registered as a citizen.
Mm-hmm. It's a little complex here because we have such a huge illegal immigrant community. We have people who are disqualified from voting through felonies, which is a controversial thing. And then, and then there's this whole, well, people mail in, we want to broaden it and all. I don't know. I think that the number one thing needs to be fair, free, verifiable elections. Florida went through a real struggle. I was involved in this, actually. I don't know if you remember the Bush v. Gore recount situation in Florida, but we were involved. We were one of the law firms in one of the counties in Florida that was involved with monitoring the recount. And after going through, that was a very educational process as a kind of witness to what was going on. We had these paper ballots. Now, there were problems in other counties with the hanging chads and all that, but the process that we have in Florida is very, very good. At least there was some reforms that were done since that election. And, you get this paper ballot, you have an ink marker, you ink it out, you put it, the machine scans it, so the machine counts it. But at the end of the day, you've got boxes and piles of paper with marked ballots. And it's not perfect, but it's very good because now if somebody questions the election, I can tabulate those out. I can account for every person that came through that door and filled out one of those ballots. I can delineate that. Okay, there's 100 votes that came through. There's 100 ballots. I can re-put them through the machine, or I can hand count them if I want, and I can verify that the election is fair. That is the way it should be done. This idea that you're pushing a button on a screen and there's no evidence of what you voted, that to me is insane because there's no way to verify if the computer recorded it correctly or if there's some malware involved. It's so impossible to undo a cheated election that we have to guarantee, we have to make the process verifiable. That's a very, very important thing for our democracy, for the health of our democracy, because that's the sort of thing that can cause a civil war. It could cause the destruction of our republic. It's that serious. We need to make sure that our elections are fair and verifiable so that the loser accepts the election result.
Yeah, because with the system, more or less what Trump is actually calling for is more or less the Scandinavian system of voting. ID, paper ballots, because you can, so it actually can be recounted in some way, shape, or form. And I saw the question earlier, what about the elderly and the disabled and everything? Well, you can if you know it's that day, you can prepare for it. And
sure, and
there are laws for accessibility.
Absentee ballots, and you go to a notary and you vote. And I'm not against that. And the military is another one. But this widespread use of it is a problem. It's choosy heretics choose carnation revolution now. I actually had a conversation with my son about him the other day, and I was like, here's somebody who was always in the chat, and I have no clue what he stands for. I know it has something to do with Jesuits, and he doesn't like the Jesuits or something, but I'm like, he's like a real person because he engages with me, and it's like he knows I play guitar and he customizes his arguments for me. But it's always like, I was like, there's this guy and he chats and I don't quite know what he's trying to communicate. And I've seen him on your chats and in the chats for so long that I should know, but I just don't. I'm sorry, but so I apologize if I don't get the point. But I appreciate him showing up and saying hello. How's that? Is that fair?
The voting age in Sweden is 18. We have 18 is the cutoff period for everything but alcohol. Because in Sweden, you can vote, you can be in the army, but you can't drink. Yes. Well, you can drink in bars at 18, but you can't go buy bottles of alcohol. Then you have to be 20.
Yeah, and well, I don't know what else we're talking about. I also wanted to say, what's the name of I was going to tell you in December that murder trial of the OnlyFans murder trial in Miami.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
scheduled. I don't know.
It's scheduled now for
like beginning of December sometime.
let's
I will
see.
say that I will be very surprised if it goes in December, because usually lawyers hate taking trials in
Yeah.
December because of Christmas.
Let's see here. Let's see here. Dun, dun, dun. Trial has been set for December 1st.
December 1st, okay.
Yeah.
I'll give that a 50-50. I'll be surprised if it goes, because
Yeah.
because
And also, did you hear that the YNW Melly trial has been postponed to 2027?
is that Atlanta?
No, that's YNW Melly. That's the Florida rapper.
Oh, okay.
The retrial of YNW Melly.
Okay.
And it is out, and it is, I don't remember exactly which court it is in, but it will be interesting. But because the entirety of 2026, the current judge, his schedule is full.
Yeah,
they have to
the
postpone.
big problem, I will say, in Miami, practicing in the Miami courts, the system is so broken. I'm very, we could move up. Let's do side by side.
Yeah.
The judges in the courts are so overwhelmed and packed that that bad actor lawyers get advantage by, and they use the packed court system to their advantage. I'm seeing some real problem, and I'll tell you, the system is so broken. And people, somebody was saying, I forget which chat it was, but I was I like to look at the chat and see what people are saying. And one of them was saying that there's no solution. It might have been Carnation Guy, but the solution comes, in my opinion, the solution comes from each individual doing their inner work, working, being truthful with themselves and with others. And what was it? I think it was Solzhenitsyn said, "Live not by lies," which was, he says that lies and falsity and untruth empowers tyranny. The Soviet Union was driven, everybody was lying. It was a lie-driven society. And that's when he was in the Gulag, and he wrote the Gulag Archipelago. He looked in his own heart and said, how is it that I am contributing to this tyranny that exists in the Soviet Union? And his response was, because I bought into the lies. I repeated the lies. So the one thing you can do to fight tyranny is to not do that, to always be truthful yourself and others in all things. But our society is just drowning in lies right now. It's drowning in them. And I don't know. I think a lot of it has to do with New York Times v. Sullivan, which allows for lies in the public discourse for no remedy.
Yeah.
So, but
the YNW Melly state appealing an order requiring them to turn over to the defense team the results of a search warrant on one of the defense lawyers. Yeah. Raven Liberty, Melly's defense attorney since many, many years. Somehow, the state got a search warrant approved of all her iPhone cloud data. Everything. So as of now, they only got the search warrant in itself, but not the what you call it, the paperwork before, the affidavits, not turned over. They appealed that.
Okay. But
the state claims, the state claims that Raven Liberty made witness intimidation and witness intimidation against one of the people who testified in the court, which was the detective Soto, I believe his name was. That was the man in the ski mask, because he was reportedly undercover. And then they found his pictures online, and they argued to the court successfully, no, you can't. because he's pictures of him. And the judge said, well, yeah, now we won't show your pictures on camera, but you have to take off the ski mask. So half of his testimony was with ski mask, other half was off. And that they turned into witness intimidation, that they actually went looking for pictures of him to show his face in court, which is insanity for me, that was approved. And now they are fighting tooth and nail for the involved cops who has seen Raven Liberty's iPhone cloud data to not be deposed. So they are fighting tooth and nail to not hand it over, and they have appealed, and they got a stay in the appeals court while the appeal is pending. So the judge said, well, next available date then. And they have argued this because they didn't even tell the defense, any of the defense attorneys, that they were investigating this attorney. They found out by mistake because Google, or no, not Google, whoever owns the iPhone, Apple or whatever's, so they found out when Google sent something to them that, yeah, we have now sent this information. So they had it secret for over a year. Now the judge has said, you had this information for over a year and you have not pressed charges. That to me says there's not an ongoing investigation. Hand it over. Hand it to me first in chambers, in camera. That way I can look at it and say, yes, this is privileged. Yes, this is ongoing and everything. But they really don't want to. They've argued this since December of last year.
Interesting. Well, I'd say Mad World just gave you some money there, I think. And then
Thank you.
Also, I wanted to point out in the chat here is Fiery Red Podcast. So let's I want to talk about Fiery, but let's talk about Mad World.
Can I do half a regret? Yes, I can do half a regret. Let's do half a regret. So half a shot. Half a shot. Dun, 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 the wheel of regrets.
Whiskey. I don't know, lawyers and whiskey. I don't know.
All right. Yeah.
Well, I want to say while you're doing that, Fiery Red Podcast is there, and I don't know if you remember. I saw an interview I did an interview with him a while back. I called him the grave robber because he's fighting for his life, I will say.
Yeah, I know.
And but he's a really good guy. I gotten to know him and got to be friend with him, and we had a great discussion, and he's inspired me in a lot of ways. And I will say that's like I've been telling you about all the negatives about the internet, but meeting somebody like that who has been a positive force and who's given me a lot of inspiration. Cheers to you, my friend. So thank you for being here. Thanks for fighting, hanging on, and being who you are. And you're an inspirational figure for me. And if anybody wants to check out Fiery Red Podcast, go check out the Grave Robber. Yeah. He's on my channel.
Yeah, he's been. I mean, it's almost 2 years ago now when he got it's fatal, and he refuses to leave.
Right, good for you.
Stubborn as a mule.
But he's got some love around him, and I will say, and he's interesting because I interviewed him because we are all in the fatal groove, right? Life is a fatal groove.
Yeah,
and
life is a sexual transmitted disease.
You just never know.
100% lethal outcome.
Right. I mean, so having, and it's important for all of us to kind of contemplate that. And that's where it goes to back about, are you providing some good in the world? Are you providing some light? Are you making the world a better place by your presence? And because I think that when Fiery Red, we talk, he's inspired me. He's made my life better. He's inspired me in a lot of ways, and he's an interesting guy. I'm blessed to have known him. And but when you're dealing with, most people don't even think about that. They just go through their selfish life, and they lie and they make the world a worse place, and they haven't reflected on what are they really doing. Are they really making the world a better place? So here he's giving us a little update. See, Fiery Red, thank you for being here and watching and being a part of this little community. It's 2 years this December.
We are very happy that you are still with us.
Yeah, and
2 years this December.
My average life expectancy, I've been mostly stable, very up and down. I'm trying. See there? And the thing is life is precious. I need this reminder today too. And see, this is why God works in mysterious ways. And I've had some downs recently, and not right now, not this immediate moment, but I needed that reminder. So thank you for visiting. God bless you.
Yeah.
So anyways, live not by lies. That's my
because so you will get, if you live by lies, it might be easier to log into your fake social media account and do a lot of bad things, but it will come back to you, because you if you lie and lie and lie, it will catch up to you. It will morally corrupt you, and it will show. It will show eventually.
Well, it makes the world a worse place. It's evil, and it brings the world down. It brings you down. Your self-deception, your decisions won't be as good. But the thing is, this is where I think maybe the West, part of the sin of the West that we're dealing with is the sin of wealth, because we can protect ourselves from the consequences of our own lies and self-deception, because the consequences are cushioned by wealth. I'm living in my house. I have my job. I got my work. I'm not hungry.
Unless you're Laura Owens and completely deplete your parents' wealth.
Well, okay, but I'm talking about general. This is why rural people, farmers, for example, like you're a farmer, right? Farmers, if you lie about the plants aren't going to listen to the lies. No, they're going to grow, or the animals aren't going to listen to your lies.
I promise I fertilized the field, and I didn't. It will show.
Right. So it's and it's interesting because how do you stop lying? What is it? I think it was Aristotle that said you are what you do. So it's a habitual thing, and people lie as a matter of habit, as a matter of convenience. Then they have justifications. Here's why I did it. Here's why I didn't it. And the thing is that over time you just create a series of these deceptions. It's like, well, it's okay because I lied because of this, I lied because of that. But then you become a habitual liar. It's like, well, I'm not a liar. I did that because I have my justification. But you are what you do habitually. So the challenge is, how do you stop this cycle? Stop doing it right now. And every day measure your own honesty. Look at yourself. You got to be honest with yourself and say, where is it? And why did I do that? And then think about it and write it down. Say, why did I do that lie? Is there a better way? Could I have been honest in that situation and still achieve the same effect? Honey, do I look fat in this dress?
And you
right? Well, I lied because it protected, right? That's the good example. But think about other ways that you could answer those questions and not create the harm or the difficulty. So and then do that a day at a time and become a habitual truth teller. And that will make the world a better place. And it's a way to battle tyranny.
And don't mistake that for the people who are, I'm just being honest, while they're just being rude.
Yeah, that's in viciousness, you can use honesty as a weapon and truth as a weapon to hurt. I'm just being honest. That person's fat, right? It's like, okay, well, really, being silent is valuable too.
And walking into one of the things in American law which I completely disagree with: cops can lie in interrogation.
Oh, right, yeah. That's a very difficult. And the problem with that, and I've struggled with this because in some ways it's a necessity. All right, because but on the other hand, it creates a culture of deception within the legal community and within the law enforcement community. And that culture, it's like, okay, well, it's okay to lie to the suspect in the interrogation. Well, then is it okay to go lie on the witness stand when you're talking about it?
Yeah,
And,
because when people get used to lying, it's almost as if, well, it's okay, so I can bend it a bit more because we really want this bad guy put away. And we see that in the Delphi case.
right.
And we saw it in the Zachariah Anderson case. We just have
and
to bend the rules.
This is where I really wanted to teach prosecutors in Miami. And, I came to Miami because it's easy to criticize. It's easy to talk. And we're all critics when we're watching these trials. We're saying that judge sucks or that prosecutor sucks. And it's easy to say that, but it's like, okay, am I going to put my money where my mouth is? Am I going to do something about it? So I had an opportunity to come to a major metro area and try to make a difference and develop policies and to develop the ideals for the prosecutorial profession, because I had seen a lot of bad prosecutors, some great prosecutors too, right? But we needed to, we got to make the effort. And although I was unsuccessful in the short term personally, I can look myself in the mirror and say I made the attempt, right? And most people don't do that. One of my biggest regrets, and it's interesting because it connects into this Mellie trial. I was really looking forward to creating a model Brady compliance policy for the Miami-Dade prosecutor's office. That was my next project after I did I've done a few projects and they're available online. Some of the policies I developed for the Miami-Dade State Attorney's Office, whether they use them or not, I don't know at this point. But I was developing policies. And one of my big projects, and it is not an easy question, and you're saying, why didn't they turn over this document that's clearly Brady material? It's actually, when you get into it, and it's been a year since I've even thought about it or looked at it because I'm not dealing with Brady issues now, but it's a very complex and difficult problem. And I have a very methodical, I have a lot of notes where I was developing a model Brady compliance manual for prosecutors. And I really wanted to finish that. That was going to be a major prosecutorial effort that could have been shared across the country. And I would say that's my biggest regret. I wanted to do that. I wanted to produce that as sort of a culmination so that people could use it and prosecutors could use it, because it's not as easy. From a defense perspective, it seems easy. It's like, well, you should produce it, right? But it's not as easy as it seems. There's a lot of
you have work product. You have are they in the middle of investigating something that may or may not lead somewhere? You don't want to tip off the defense about it and stuff like that. And I used as an example with the Lisk case in New York, against Rex Hoyerman. The prosecution there has bi-weekly meetings with the defense to hand over. Here's what we have that we can turn over. We are also, they have these meetings where they are open because they aren't afraid of anything because the case is that strong. And if they happen to have a disagreement, they book with the judge a couple of weeks ahead of time. They will sit down, they will have an hour, and it's settled. And it shouldn't be harder than that.
Well, and that is you just made an interesting point about they have a strong case so they can be honest, right?
Yeah.
But the challenges become on serious cases that are not as strong, right?
Yeah.
And that's where the temptation really comes in. But see, that's where the test lies. It's easy to be honest when it doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
But when there's a cost associated with that, then it makes it more difficult. You have to stand up to your group. And I don't know. I think these are struggles. These are questions, and these are things that we need to discuss, and we need to be able to talk about values and honesty and about the importance of the rule of law and about following the law. A prosecutor upholds the law by following the law. But when it's vague and when it's fuzzy, that's when you need a team and you need to rely on objective policies.
Yeah.
And Freedom Ring has a little comment on that. Yeah, and see, she's a lawyer in Florida and a very kind person. Thank you, Freedom Ring. And see, this is the thing from a prosecutor side. That's a defense side. It's a lot easier from the defense side. It's much tougher from the prosecutor side, because how much of an affirmative obligation is there to go and investigate and to question the evidence you have? You know, if you just get a bunch of evidence, what if you got a bunch of evidence but you don't believe any of it? You think the guys are lying. Do you have an obligation to go out and investigate the evidence that you have that supports your case? And if so, how far does that obligation to investigate go? One of the big things we have that I'm a fan of is something called a Brady list for police officers. Yeah. So when police officers are lying in court and are found, there should be a list, and that should be disclosed as part of a Brady list that the prosecutor's office maintains. Yeah. But there's many prosecutors' offices that don't maintain those lists. They just say, well, you find out, defense attorney, and the defense attorneys are not equipped to find those things out. Yeah. And do you, as a prosecutor, have an obligation to go and investigate your cops about whether they've lied in other cases? I don't know. And there's no institutional mechanism for an individual prosecutor to find those things out. Yeah. And now, I do know in the Karen Reed case, they are referencing a Brady list in Massachusetts. So they have that, which the leader to what's his name again, Janetti, has argued now that what's her name is, I don't remember her name, but they demand that she has to be put on the Brady list because she either lied to the FBI or she lied to us. But many prosecutors' offices don't maintain Brady lists. Yeah. They say, hear no evil, see no evil, tell no lies, right? So they say, well, defense, go find it. See, there's what is it? Mad World. Yeah. Mad World says, are you still doing death penalty cases? No, you missed a lot. Now, I got run out of town by the Miami Herald, who wrote a very nasty defamatory article about me, about my writings, and took my fictional crime novel and pretended like I was the villains in the novel, and not nice, and basically got me fired from the Miami State Attorney's Office for writing a fictional crime novel. And this, we were talking a little bit earlier about, you know, I mean, all of the things that they were criticizing me for writing in my fictional book were actually things that I've actually experienced, that I actually saw. Yeah. So, for example, one of the things is the prosecutor, the bad prosecutor, one of the villains, right, who convicted an innocent person. And it was like, how is it that you can see? Let me see. How is it that an innocent person can go to prison? That's a question. Yeah. You know, people want to, and so this book was a factual recitation of how innocent, because it's actually based on a real trial that I did, in which an innocent person was convicted. It's the most difficult trial case of my life. And it wasn't a death penalty case. It was a different type of case. But the person got 10 years in prison for something they absolutely did not do. They were absolutely innocent. And it was the most painful, difficult trial of my life. And a lot of the trial in that case is based on this case and this prosecutor. Well, when I made my villain prosecutor, I wanted to make him a bad guy, right? Yep. And so I thought about some of the experiences that I've had as a prosecutor, seeing what other prosecutors did that repulsed me. And so I put those stories into the book. And it's interesting when they wrote about that, one of those stories, I remember I was asked by the state attorney's office in Miami, they asked me, did you know about this guy in our office? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I was talking about the office in Daytona Beach. Because they had a prosecutor who did exactly the same thing in Miami. So the stories are based on reality. Yeah. These are reflections. These are mirrors of things that I've seen. It's not like I'm endorsing bad. I don't endorse prosecutors prosecuting innocent people. I mean, or doing bad things and withholding evidence and, you know, all that stuff that this guy does. How is it that's me? You know, but this Miami Herald is very dishonest, and we're very vicious. And so was I got to say, so was the Miami-Dade bar. I hate to say it, criminal defense bar was not kind. But so anyways, but thank you for the question. That's the short story.
Yeah.
I'm now doing civil work. I'm not doing death penalty cases. I am doing civil defense work. Not by choice.
Yeah, and I saw that if Zach's lawyer had put a defense case like Karen Reed's lawyers, the difference is Karen Reed, not only did she have a very large amount of money, she had access to she could hire attorney, and then Turtle Boy, which got her an extra $1 million, and she still went into debt. Zachariah was basically broke, and sadly, you get sometimes you get the defense you pay for. Could the Sachs defense have done more? Of course they could have. But Sachs' case was not the only case they were running. And
I
don't blame the defense because of dishonest prosecutors.
That was a very bad prosecutor, a very, very dishonest prosecutor. And I would also say a very bad judge. And if you've got a bad judge and a bad prosecutor, there's almost nothing a defense attorney can do. You can preserve it for appeal. But if you've got the judge, and if you read the judge, then, and I can tell you that you can't defame the dead. Yeah. Judge Wolf, that judge in my book is based on a real judge named Judge Wolf who did exactly the things that is in that book. And so, that book, there's a lot of experience in that book, and I'm proud. It was great. But the thing is when you've got a prosecutor and a judge. What's the defense going to do? Then it's up to the jury. But the jury is looking. I mean, the Judge Wolf would sit up there when he'd sit there, and when we would talk, he'd look off into space. And when the prosecutor would talk, he'd be all attentive. Yeah. Oh, and he would gesticulate and he would make faces. When witness would testify, he would communicate to the jury exactly what he thought about our case. It was evil. It was evil. And I'm disgusting judge, and I'm one of the worst judges I've ever been around. Anyway, sorry, but it resulted in an innocent person getting convicted. Yeah. Now, I'm not saying that this judge in the Zachariah Anderson case was that bad, but he was not controlling the bad prosecutor, and that is his job. His job is, he would growl, say, "Oh, why are you doing?" He'd make this, he'd complain and whine.
All bark, no bite. All bark, no bite.
And so, and the prosecutor knew that. So he knew he could get away with anything, and he did. Yeah. And that, but see, that's one of those moral, ethical challenges. Now, if you're the prosecutor there and you can get away with it, do you do it? And that's the moral test. Yeah. Because if you've got a weak judge, the prosecutor should be on extra guard to make sure that they make a fair trial for everybody. They should go the extra mile to make sure it's fair when you've got a weak judge who isn't following the law. It's like, okay, I understand that the judge, I could get away with this, but I'm going to play it straight and narrow in all cases. Yeah. I just think that's a real important, because if you don't have any morality, it's like, well, then I just want to win. Yeah. That's not the prosecutor's job. Is not to get a conviction. The prosecutor's job is to uphold the law.
Yeah, that is why, and we've said this many times before. If a prosecutor says, I have a 99% or 100% conviction rate, he's by all means prosecuting people he knows are innocent. But
I mean, you're not dropping. I remember I had John Tanner. You did John Tanner. Yeah. She did the Eileen Wuornos case, right? Yeah. John Tanner was kind of my mentor. He's the reason I became a prosecutor. He was a force of nature. I'll tell you, that guy. He was a great prosecutor and a real strong personality. He was an alpha dog all the way, right? And he was who hired me into the prosecutor's office in Daytona, right? And he prosecuted Eileen Wuornos, and amongst others, he had a lot of major cases, but a very forceful, interesting personality that I looked up to, and he was forceful, but he got in trouble. I mean, he would push the line, but boy, he was not like Gravely. I mean, I remember he would come into my office And I'd say, well, what do I need to do here? And he's like, well, do the right thing. Are you, have you dropped any cases? Because you need to, I'll never criticize you for dropping your case. I hire you for your judgment. I remember him telling me stuff like that, and that was great. And my Steve Nelson was my direct supervisor. And he was always saying, do the right thing. Do the right thing by the defense, and I remember it was like, because I remember one time there was this guy and I didn't like this defendant. And I was telling him like, oh, this defendant is this. And he's like, and I remember Nelson would say to me, well, what's that have to do with the case? What's that have to do with the case? Right. And it was such a good question. It's one of those voices in the back of my head. And it was like, yeah, that's right. What does it have to do with the case? Right. The facts are here. Whether he's a good or bad guy isn't really relevant to whether the facts are what they are. Right. I either have a case or not. I'm not going to get all tied up to prove he's a bad guy. If he's a bad guy but didn't do the crime, then he should walk. If he's a good guy and did the crime, then he should be convicted. I mean, it's one of those things,
All right. I need to start wrapping it. It's almost 2 a.m. where I am.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're having so much tea. We're
yeah, I know.
Can't wait to see you, buddy.
Yeah. And folks, remember, September 20th, right here.
6:30 p.m.
6:30 p.m.
Julian
Henry. Me and Gosney
Henry.
Have a drink, have something to eat, and have a great time. Have a definite great time. So we will make sure there's room for as many as can show up. Well, it's not up to us; it's up to them.
The place is huge. No, it's a communal kind of thing. You believe me, anybody who shows up, they're going to love it because it's wrapped with bars and eateries and places like that. And there's a big kind of communal place, like a eating area. So you can eat at the little places or in the center. It's great. It's perfect for what we're doing. So if you show up, we'll have a great time.
Yeah. And that Sunday, Steve will get me to church.
Yes, that's right. You're going to go to church with us. We'll go to and then we've been thinking about like which Catholic church are we going to go to? We're going to go to the Catholic church. I don't know which one. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we will figure it out. We will figure it out.
All right. Hey, thank you for everybody. And happy 25th anniversary, Freedom Ring. Good to hear from you.
Happy 25th anniversary.
And Fiery Red, good to see you here. And Slidey Pie and all the Matt himself and all the nice people that have been here. And all the Jacob Castro, Savage.
Yeah, thank you everybody who showed up. Thank you for the supers. Thank you for the via PayPal. Well, I have tomorrow off, Sunday, because I need one day off. Monday, I will be back with some reading of the Delphi transcript. I will also have a recap of the Donna Adelson trial day 2, Monday evening. So that is up for me. And, well, if Steve wants to join me, I will send an invite.
I'd love to, but I'm not. I'm so very.
Yeah, I know. You have work. Yeah, you have work.
I do.
I know. But yeah, so let's see here. It is Saturday the 23rd. I will leave Wednesday the 3rd at 9 a.m. my time. I will be in Salt Lake City. I believe it is, let's see here. Sorry. I will be in Salt Lake City, 7:23 p.m. I will land Utah time. So take those number of hours and add, 7 hours? That is my travel time that day. So I will be in a hotel the first night because, I don't want to pick up a van the moment I land. So, and then on the 4th, I will go up to Logan and I will probably spend the weekend at Donnie's and then visit Jeff's grave and meet up with Connor as well. So, it will be, and then after 2 weeks there, I will be in Miami from the 19th to the 24th.
Time's gonna fly, and I look forward to seeing you. My mom's 90th birthday is going to be the weekend before.
Oh,
so gonna have a big party for my mom.
Mm.
So then the next weekend after that is we're gonna see you. So I look forward to seeing you, and we're gonna have a great time.
We're going to have a great time. So, folks, thank you everybody for showing up. I will play the Miami Night, the the meetup song, as a goodbye. See you, folks. Have a good one. Bye bye.